The 7-year-old watched from behind the dessert menu as the rich man slipped powder into her teacher's champagne. Miss Suri didn't see it. She was too busy being polite, too kind to notice the predator across from her. But Jiwoo Kong wasn't like other 7-year-olds. Her father had taught her to spot poison before she could even read. Taught her to move in shadows before she learned to skip rope. One small hand. One perfect switch. One sip that would change everything. The Mafia boss's daughter doesn't play with dolls. She plays with destiny. Before we delve in deeper, I need you to do something for me in just 1 second, like this video. Hit that subscribe button right now and stay with me to see how one child's matchmaking scheme becomes a dangerous game of protection, poison, and finding family in the darkest places. 3 hours earlier. Miss Suri is the prettiest teacher in the whole world, but she's always sad during lunch when the other teachers talk about their boyfriends. Jiwoo whispered this to Mr. Yoon from the Mercedes backseat. Afternoon sun caught her school uniform, making her look like any other second grader heading home. She wasn't. Daddy gets the same look, Jiwoo continued, fingers tracing patterns on leather. When he looks at Mommy's picture, that faraway sad look. Mr. Yoon said nothing. Some topics were dangerous even to acknowledge. But Jiwoo had made her decision 63 days ago. 63 days since finding Miss Suri crying in the supply closet. 63 days watching her beloved teacher eat alone while others laughed about weekend dates. 63 days since realizing Miss Suri had the same expression her father wore, the look of someone who'd forgotten what it felt like to be chosen. Jiwoo understood loss better than most adults. She'd been 4 when it happened. For when a woman from a rival family poisoned her mother's tea during a peace negotiation. For when Kang Min-jae, one of New York's most feared Korean mafia bosses, decided love was a weakness his family could no longer afford. But Jiwoo remembered what love looked like, and she was done waiting for grown-ups to figure it out. For 9 weeks, she'd run Operation Happy Endings, sneaking into her father's study, creating a dating profile using his most normal photo, listed his interests as family, reading, and international business. Technically true, even if business involved territory negotiations and weapons imports. Ashton Reed's profile seemed perfect. Investment banker, Columbia graduate, charity photos, bio mentioning meaningful conversation and giving back. What 7-year-old Jiwoo couldn't detect was that Ashton Reed's hobby was targeting women he perceived as beneath him. Immigrant women, service workers, teachers, women exactly like Miss Suri Kwame. When Jiwoo messaged pretending to be her father, mentioned the date was for a family friend, sent Suri's photo, sweet elementary school teacher from Kenya, Ashton saw exactly what he wanted. An easy target. Jiwoo told Miss Suri her uncle had seen her at a school event. Miss Suri, who'd been encouraging Jiwoo to trust others, agreed. If it means this much to you, sweetie, I'll give your uncle a chance. The plan was simple. Father discovers the date, shows up to scold her, meets Miss Suri. They fall in love. What could go wrong? Everything. Jiwoo insisted on being there to witness her perfect plan. She'd positioned herself 3 tables away with Mr. Yoon, hidden behind the dessert menu exactly how her father taught her to surveil. She watched Miss Suri arrive in her modest dress. Watched her smile nervously as Ashton stood. Watched them order, talk, laugh. And then Jiwoo saw it. The moment that made her blood run cold. Ashton's hand moving to his jacket. The casual, practice motion most people would miss. The small packet dissolving into champagne with the ease of someone who'd done this many, many times. Rohypnol. Jiwoo recognized it instantly. Her father had made her memorize every date rape drug before her 6th birthday. The world is full of predators, Yobo. The Kangs survive because we see them coming. Miss Suri, kind, gentle Miss Suri, who stayed late to tutor struggling students, was reaching for that glass with no idea what was about to happen. Not on Jiwoo's watch. The server passed between tables. Jiwoo stumbled into him. Her small hand shot out with surgical precision. 2.3 seconds. When Ashton Reed lifted his champagne and took that first confident sip, Jiwoo allowed herself the smallest smile. Ashton's eyes went wide. Confusion, then panic. His hand spasmed. The glass shattered against his plate. He pitched forward face first into his duck breast. Chaos erupted. Servers rushed. Diners screamed. Miss Suri jumped up, medical training kicking in. Someone yelled for an ambulance. Ji-woo pulled out her emergency phone. Speed dial. Daddy, emergency only. He answered on the first ring. Ji-woo, what's wrong? She kept her voice small, frightened. Daddy, I need you. I'm at Lucille Restaurant on 53rd, and Miss Suri is in trouble. A man tried to hurt her. Pause. Then her father's voice dropped to deadly calm. Stay exactly where you are. Mr. Yoon is with you? Yes, Daddy. Don't move. Don't talk to anyone. And Ji-woo. Another pause. We're going to have a very long conversation about what you've done. The line went dead. Ji-woo watched paramedics load unconscious Ashton onto a stretcher. Watched Miss Suri stand there confused and frightened. In exactly 9 minutes and 30 seconds, Kang Min-jae would walk through those doors. And Ji-woo's matchmaking scheme would officially become the most dangerous game in New York history. Because what the little girl didn't know was that someone else had been watching. Someone who'd recognized the Kang family's youngest. Someone who'd waited 4 years for revenge. And now they had the perfect target. Kang Min-jae arrived in exactly 9 minutes 30 seconds. Black SUVs pulled up with precision that made diners glance nervously toward windows. The restaurant's general manager materialized, face pale. Kang didn't make entrances. He made statements. Tall, broad-shouldered in charcoal suit, he moved through the restaurant like winter itself. Dark eyes swept the scene, exits, threats, witnesses. In a heartbeat. Those eyes found Ji-woo. His jaw tightened fractionally, the only outward sign of emotion. He crossed to her table in 3 strides. Sir, I take full responsibility. Mr. Yoon started. Not here. Kang's voice was quiet, controlled, terrifying. His eyes never left his daughter. Ji-woo, come. She slid out, her small hand finding his. His fingers closed around hers with gentleness that contradicted everything else about him. The teacher, he asked. Ji-woo pointed across the restaurant. Miss Suri stood near paramedics, modest dress and sensible shoes, making her look impossibly out of place. She was speaking to police, her Kenyan accent growing thicker with stress. Kang studied her. Suri Kwame was nothing like women who usually tried to get his attention. No designer clothes, no calculated sophistication. She looked exactly like what she was, a kindergarten teacher ambushed by circumstances she didn't understand. She's pretty, right, Daddy? Ji-woo whispered. And really nice. She stays late to help kids who struggle, and she makes origami cranes for everyone's birthday. Kang looked down at his daughter, seeing past innocence to calculation. How long have you been planning this? 63 days. Since I heard her crying, because she thought nobody wanted her. Something flickered across Kang's face. He returned attention to Suri, watching her push braids back with trembling fingers. Mr. Kang. The manager appeared, sweating. The police would like to speak with anyone who witnessed. No. My daughter saw nothing. She was having dinner with her bodyguard. But sir, the young woman mentioned. Kang turned slowly. Whatever the manager saw made words die. My daughter saw nothing. Do we have an understanding? The manager nodded frantically. Take Ji-woo to the car, Kang told Mr. Yoon. I'll be down momentarily. Daddy, wait. One look silenced her. In the car, Ji-woo waited 23 minutes before her father emerged. He slid in beside her without a word. They drove through Manhattan's nighttime streets in silence. You arranged a date, he finally said. Using my information. For a woman you barely know. Without permission. Yes, Daddy. You lied to your teacher. Yes. You endangered yourself, Mr. Yoon, and Miss Kwame by putting her in contact with the predator. But I saved her. Ji-woo's voice cracked. I saw the drug, Daddy, just like you taught me. I did exactly what you would have done. Kang turned to look at his daughter fully. The 7-year-old who could identify poisons by sight, who'd executed a glass switch with professional precision, who'd stayed calm and called backup at exactly the right moment. That man was going to hurt Miss Suri. Ji-woo continued, eyes filling with tears she refused to let fall. He was going to do bad things because he thought she was nobody. But she's not nobody. She's my teacher. She's important to me. And I won't let bad men hurt people I love. The word hung between them. Love. You love her? He asked quietly. She's the only one who treats me like a kid instead of a soldier, Jiwoo whispered. She lets me just be Jiwoo. Not Kang Jiwoo, daughter of the most dangerous man in New York. Just Jiwoo, who likes purple and struggles with fractions. Kang's hand reached out slowly, tucking hair behind his daughter's ear. I taught you to survive. I didn't realize I forgot to let you live. Miss Suri lets me live, Jiwoo said. And Daddy, you looked at her, and for just a second, you looked the way you look in old photos with Mommy. Before. You looked alive too. Kang said nothing, but his expression shifted. The Mercedes pulled up to their financial district penthouse. As Mr. Yoon opened the door, Kang caught his daughter's arm gently. What you did was dangerous and reckless. He paused. It was also remarkably effective. However, Jiwoo waited. If you ever arrange a date for me again without permission, you'll be grounded until you're 18. Understood? Yes, Daddy. Good. Now tell me everything about this teacher. In the elevator, Jiwoo told him. About Miss Suri's laugh, about band-aids for scraped knees and broken hearts, about how she looked sad when she thought no one was watching, about how she'd emigrated from Kenya 5 years ago, lived alone in Queens, ate lunch by herself every day. Kang listened. Really listened. Later, after tucking Jiwoo into bed, Kang stood in his study staring at Manhattan's skyline. His phone sat on his desk, demanding attention. He'd taken Suri Kwami's number. For safety purposes. But now, in silence, Kang admitted the truth he'd been avoiding. For the first time in 4 years, he'd felt something other than ice when looking at a woman. His phone buzzed. Security. Read family making inquiries. The teacher is exposed. Kang's hand tightened. He made a decision that would change everything. He typed, Miss Kwame, this is Kang Min-jae, Jiwoo's father. I believe we need to discuss what happened tonight. For your safety. He hit send before he could second-guess. Her response came quickly. Who are you really? And why does your 7-year-old know how to spot poison drinks? Kang smiled, sharp and cold. This, he thought, is going to be complicated. The next day, Suri Kwame did not sleep. She sat on her worn queen's couch, still in that carefully selected dress, phone clutched in hand. Kang Min-jae's last text, we should discuss this in person. Tomorrow, I'll send a car. She'd replied, no thank you. I can meet you somewhere public. His response, Miss Kwame, you were targeted by a man from a powerful family. Somewhere public won't protect you, but I can. The presumptuousness should have angered her. Instead, it sent ice through her veins because she recognized truth. She'd seen Ashton Reed's family arrive at the hospital on news footage, expressions promising consequences. And Suri had given police her real name and contact before Kang Min-jae made the incident mysteriously disappear. She was exposed. Vulnerable. The worst part? She'd walked into this because of a 7-year-old's matchmaking scheme. A 7-year-old who could identify poisons. What kind of father taught his daughter those skills? Jiwoo Kang wasn't like her classmates. Other children played with abandon. Jiwoo played with calculation, always watching exits, always assessing. It had broken Suri's heart. So she'd made it her mission to give Jiwoo normalcy. Pair her with silly students. Called on her for easy questions that let her relax. Learned Korean fairy tales to share stories of a mother she barely remembered. She'd thought she was helping. Instead, she'd made such an impression the child decided to matchmake her with a crime boss. Because that's what Kang Min-jae had to be. No legitimate businessman made police officers scatter with a look. She should run. But Jiwoo had saved her from becoming victim number 4 to a predator with infinite resources. How could she run after that? Her phone buzzed. I understand your hesitation. But Reed's parents already obtained your address. They know where you live, where you work. I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to let me keep my daughter's teacher alive. The bastard knew exactly which button to push. She typed, fine, but I meet you at the school, during business hours, where there are witnesses. Agreed. 3:30 p.m. After dismissal. The school day dragged. Every minute felt like hours. Her students sensed distraction. Even Tommy Peterson was surprisingly well-behaved. Jiwoo watched with 2 knowing eyes. During morning recess, Jiwoo approached hesitantly. Miss Suri? Are you mad at me? Zuri's heart broke. She crouched down, taking small hands in hers. Oh, sweetie, no. I'm just processing what happened. Because of the date? I thought if Daddy met you, he'd see how nice you are. And maybe you'd both be less sad. Ji-woo, I appreciate that you were trying to help. But adults have to make their own choices about dating. But you both live in the same world as me, Ji-woo pointed out with devastating child logic. And you're the only people who make me feel safe and happy. Doesn't that mean something? Before Zuri could respond, the classroom door opened. Principal Mrs. Harrison stood there with an expression Zuri had learned to dread. Miss Kwame? My office, please. In the office, Zuri found not just the principal, but security and a woman in an expensive suit. Miss Kwame, the woman said, smile sharp. I'm Victoria Reed. I hope you don't mind my stopping by. I'm trying to understand what happened to my son last night. Zuri's mouth went dry. The police already took my statement. Yes, and oddly, that statement disappeared from records. Along with evidence you were ever there. Fortunate for you. Victoria's eyes were cold. Less fortunate for a mother trying to understand why her son is in a coma. I don't know what happened. We were having dinner, he collapsed, I tried to help. And the man who made police reports disappear? Who was he? I don't. The office door opened. Kong Min-jae filled the doorway. Black suit, making him look like violence wrapped in silk. His eyes swept the room before settling on Victoria Reed with the attention a wolf gives competing predator. Mrs. Reed, he said pleasantly, I thought I detected your perfume. Chanel No. 5. My late wife wore the same. Victoria's mask slipped. Mr. Kong, what a surprise. Is it? You make inquiries about a woman at my daughter's school, and you didn't think I'd hear? The little girl at the restaurant. She was there too, wasn't she? My daughter was having dinner with her bodyguard. Miss Kwame is her teacher. The connection is hardly nefarious. Then perhaps you can explain why Miss Kwame was on a date with my son at your daughter's suggestion? Kong smiled. Not pleasant. I can explain everything, Mrs. Reed. But not here. Not in an elementary school office. If you want answers, you know where to find me. But leave Miss Kwame and this school out of your investigation. The emphasis on investigation made Victoria's jaw tighten. This isn't over, she said quietly. No, it's not. But it will be conducted between our families, not through terrorizing kindergarten teachers. Victoria left. Mrs. Harrison and security quickly excused themselves, which left Zuri alone with Kong Min-jae. He turned, some predator fading from his expression. Are you all right? No, I'm really not. What the hell is going on? Who are you people? Through no fault of your own, you've become entangled in something dangerous. I need to decide whether to extract you from Ji-woo's life for your safety, or what? Or bring you deeper under my protection, which would be safer, but infinitely more complicated. I'm not leaving Ji-woo. She needs stability. Something flickered across Kang's face. Surprise, respect, something warmer. He quickly shuddered. Then we need to talk. Really talk. My penthouse. Secure, private. Your penthouse? Are you insane? Why not? Because you're a stranger who might be a criminal. Kang's lips quirked. Fair. But your current residence is known to people who make my activities look philanthropic. The Reed family doesn't make threats, Miss Kwame. They make examples. Zuri wanted to argue, but she'd seen Victoria's eyes. If I come, Ji-woo will be there too, right? She will. With Mr. Yoon and security. You'll be perfectly safe from me. Everything about this concerns me. Good. Fear means you're paying attention. His jaw tightened. Finish your school day. I'll be waiting at 3:30. We have much to discuss, starting with exactly how much danger you're in. The penthouse wasn't what Zuri expected. She'd braced for ostentatious wealth. What she found was a space that felt lived in, warm. Hardwood floors, Korean rugs, built-in bookshelves with children's literature and classic novels. Floor-to-ceiling windows with sheer curtains softening the view. A child's drawing magnetized to the refrigerator. Daddy me, Miss Zuri. The labels read. Zuri's heart squeezed. She drew that this morning, Kong said behind her. Before I could ground her. You grounded her? I tried. She pointed out her plan technically worked. You're here, aren't you? Exasperation and reluctant pride crossed his face. My daughter is 7 and already argues like a lawyer. Jiwoo's mother. She died 4 years ago. Poisoned during a peace negotiation. Jiwoo was 3. His voice was carefully neutral, but Zuri heard the wound. She doesn't remember much beyond photographs and stories I tell. I'm so sorry. Are you? Most people offer condolences they don't mean. I mean it. Because I see what that loss did to Jiwoo. She watches other kids with their mothers and her face, she tries to hide it, but I see her. Something shifted in Kang's expression. That's why she loves you. You see her as a child instead of a chess piece. Is that how you see her?
No.
Immediate, sharp. I see her as everything I failed to protect once. I see her as my responsibility to keep alive, even if that means teaching her things no 7-year-old should know. The kettle whistled. Kang poured jasmine tea, with domestic ease, so at odds with everything else. You wanted answers about who I am. He handed her delicate porcelain. Sit. This will take time. Zuri sat at the breakfast bar and listened as Kang Min-jae laid out the truth. He was exactly what she'd feared, a criminal. But not in movie ways. His empire was built on control, information, power, and shadows. Protection rackets for immigrant businesses NYPD ignored. Import-export operations dealing in goods without customs forms. I'm not a good man, Kang said flatly. I've hurt people who threaten my interests. But I have rules. No drugs. They destroy communities I protect. No human trafficking. That's a line I'll kill to defend. No collateral damage to civilians. You're telling me this why? Because you deserve to know what world you're stepping into if you stay in my daughter's life. He opened his laptop, turned it to face her. Security footage played. A warehouse. Women in cages. Men inspecting them like livestock. Zuri's teacup rattled. Elite Connections isn't matchmaking, Kang said, voice granite hard. It's trafficking. They target immigrant women, service workers, teachers. Women who won't be missed. Ashton Reed has been recruiting for 3 years. You are supposed to be his next acquisition. The room spun. How do you know? Because they operate in my city. I've been building a case for federal authorities. But I wasn't prepared for one recruiter to target my daughter's teacher. And Jiwoo saw everything. The drug, the intent. She has my training and her mother's protective instincts. She recognized a predator and eliminated the threat. Terrible pride filled his voice. I should punish her for recklessness. Part of me wants to congratulate her for perfect execution. She's 7. She's the daughter of a man with powerful enemies. 7 in my world means old enough to be targeted. I teach her survival because the alternative is losing her the way I lost her mother. But she's a child. You think I don't know that? Real emotion cracked through. Anguish, raw and bleeding. You think I don't lie awake hating myself for stealing her childhood? For making her a soldier instead of just a little girl? He turned away, hands bracing the counter. I'm trying to balance structure and safety while letting her be a child. It's why I enrolled her in public school. Why I allow birthday parties, with discreet guards. I'm trying, Miss Kwame. Every compromise feels like a loaded gun at her head. Zuri did something profoundly stupid. She walked around the counter and placed her hand on his shoulder. He went absolutely still. You're doing better than you think, she said quietly. Jiwoo is cautious, yes. But she's also kind. Empathetic. She notices when other kids are sad and tries to help. That's not a child raised without love. That's a child taught that caring matters. She gets that from her mother. And from you. She sees you caring about her safety, her happiness. Maybe you show it differently, but it's still love. Jiwoo knows she's loved. That's not nothing. He turned slowly, and the look in his eyes made Zuri's breath catch. Dark, intense, searching. You're not afraid of me, he said. I should be. Everything logical says I should be terrified. But when I look at you, I see a father who loves his daughter enough to become a monster, so she doesn't have to. The world will never be different for people like me. Maybe not. But Jiwoo's world could be. If we work together, survival skills from you, normalcy from me, balance. His voice dropped an octave. You're planning to stay? I can't go back to my apartment. They know where I live. Your things are being moved as we speak. A team is packing essentials now. You can't just decide to move me. Would you have agreed if I'd asked? Honesty won.
No.
Then consider this me making executive decisions about your safety. He opened a door revealing a bedroom, guest suite, private bathroom, balcony. Jiwoo's room is down the hall. Mine is opposite. Complete privacy. I can't just move in. You prefer a hotel? I own the Region Arms. But Miss Kwame, wherever you go, you'll have security. 24-hour protection. Armed guards. The Reed family plays for keeps. Because Jiwoo cares about me. Not because you do. I barely know you.
His jaw tightened.
What I feel is irrelevant. Is it? The air went electric. Kong stepped closer, and Zuri's back hit the wall. He braced one hand beside her head, not touching but surrounding. You want honesty? His voice was low, dangerous. You're beautiful. Kind without being weak. You see my daughter as a person, not a project. And when you look at me, you don't see a monster. I haven't decided if that makes you perceptive or dangerously naive. And if I'm naive, then I'll protect you from that too. Including from me. He pushed away from the wall. I don't let people close. The last woman I loved died in my arms. I won't make that mistake again. Jiwoo isn't a mistake.
No.
She's a miracle. And a vulnerability that terrifies me. His hand flexed. You're already becoming another one. Before Zuri could respond, the elevator chimed. Miss Zuri. You came. Jiwoo's voice echoed. Are you staying for dinner? Please say you're staying. Jiwoo burst in, backpack still on, face lit with joy. She launched herself at Zuri with confidence. Zuri caught her, lifting Jiwoo despite her back's protest. Hey, sweetie. Are you mad about the date? I told Daddy you're too nice to stay mad forever. I was right, wasn't I? Over Jiwoo's shoulder, Zuri met Kang's eyes. She saw conflict, hope and fear warring behind careful walls. I'm not mad, Zuri said softly, still holding Kang's gaze. But we're having a talk about lying and safety, okay? Okay. Does this mean you're staying? She's staying for dinner, Kang said. Everything else requires discussion. But when Zuri set Jiwoo down and the little girl grabbed her hand, chattering about homework and classroom drama, Zuri caught Kang watching them with an expression that made her chest tight. Longing, desperate, and controlled. The look of a man who'd convinced himself he'd never have this. Domesticity, warmth, someone caring about his daughter's stories and his guarded heart. Zuri realized she was in trouble. Not just from danger, but from the way her heart whispered that maybe this broken family could become hers too. If she was brave enough to risk everything. They had pancakes for dinner because Jiwoo asked with impossibly wide eyes that even crime bosses couldn't resist. Zuri stood at the kitchen island whisking batter, while Kang worked beside her with practiced efficiency. Their hands brushed reaching for the measuring cup, and electricity jolted between them. Sorry, Kang murmured, but didn't move away. Jiwoo sat at the breakfast bar doing homework, occasionally looking up with an expression far too satisfied for seven. Miss Zuri. Jiwoo's pencil paused. Are you going to live here now? Zuri and Kang both froze. Jiwoo. Kang said carefully, we discussed this. But her things are coming. I heard you tell Mr. Yoon. That means staying, right? Temporarily, Zuri said. Until complications get sorted. I'll still be your teacher at school. Safe from what? Bad people who make bad choices, Kang answered smoothly. Nothing to worry about. Miss Zuri is helping by staying somewhere secure. Is it because of the date? Jiwoo's voice went small. Did I make things worse? Zuri crossed immediately, crouching beside her. You didn't make anything worse. You saved me from someone who wanted to hurt me. What happened after isn't your fault. I just wanted Daddy to be happy. And you to not be sad anymore. Oh, Jiwoo. Zuri pulled her into a hug. I appreciate that. But life isn't like fairy tales. Sometimes grown-ups have complicated feelings. But do you? Jiwoo pulled back. Have feelings for Daddy? Zuri's eyes found Kang across the kitchen. He'd gone still, expression carefully neutral, but she saw tension in his shoulders. Your dad is a good man, Zuri said carefully. He loves you very much. I think he's someone worth knowing. But worth knowing and ready for a relationship are different things. Because of Mommy? Jiwoo's voice was barely audible. Kong moved then, sinking down to join them. He took his daughter's hands. Your mother was the love of my life. When she died, part of me died too. I thought I'd never want to let anyone close again. His jaw worked. But you kept me alive when I wanted to stop. And slowly, I've been learning that maybe it's possible to honor your mother's memory while still being open to new things. New people. His eyes flickered to Zuri. Intensity. They're making her breath catch. That doesn't mean it's easy or happens on your timeline. But Miss Zuri is here. She's safe. And that gives us time to figure out what comes next. Okay. Jiwoo whispered. Then, with child resilience, can we still have movie night? Yes, Zuri said, laughing through unexpected tears. We can have movie night. They ate pancakes overlooking Manhattan's glittering skyline. After dinner, Jiwoo insisted on movie night, which was how Zuri found herself on an expensive leather couch. Jiwoo nestled between her and Kong, watching Spirited Away. It's Daddy's favorite, Jiwoo explained. He says it's about courage when you're scared. He also cries at the ending, she added conspiratorially. I do not cry. My eyes water, due to emotional resonance. That's called crying, Daddy. Zuri laughed, really laughed for the first time since Lucille. The sound surprised her. When she glanced over Jiwoo's head, Kong was watching her with an expression that made her pulse flutter. What? She asked quietly. You have a beautiful laugh. I hope to hear it more often. Jiwoo fell asleep before the movie ended, head on Zuri's lap, one hand clutching her father's. Zuri stroked the little girl's hair absently, her other hand somehow finding Kang's where it rested on Jiwoo's shoulder. They didn't speak. The silence was companionable, punctuated only by the movie and Jiwoo's soft breathing. When credits rolled, Khan carefully lifted his daughter, cradling her with heartbreaking gentleness. I'll put her to bed. Make yourself comfortable. Zuri watched him carry Jiwoo down the hallway, the tenderness in his movements painting a picture of a man who was so much more than the criminal he'd described. She found wine, an expensive Pinot Noir, and poured 2 glasses. Kong emerged 20 minutes later in dark jeans and soft gray Henley that somehow made him look more dangerous than suits had. Without formal armor, she could see the man underneath, lean muscle, ink peeking from sleeves, coiled power. She wanted you to tuck her in too, he said, accepting the wine. I told her you would tomorrow night if you're still here. Tomorrow night. You're very certain I'm staying.
No.
I'm hoping you'll stay. There's a difference. They gravitated to windows overlooking the city, standing side by side. I got a call while putting Jiwoo to bed, Kong said quietly. Unknown number. Korean characters. His voice went flat. It says, I heard you found someone new. Does she know what happened to the last woman you loved? H. Zuri's blood ran cold. Who's H? Yoon Hae-won, the Serpent Queen, the woman who poisoned my wife. She's been in hiding for 4 years. Kang's hand tightened on his glass. Now she knows about you, about Jiwoo's attachment, and she's letting me know she's watching. What do we do? I should send you away.
Right now.
Before she decides you're a target. Sending me away doesn't make me safe. It makes me isolated. Zuri grabbed his arms. You said you have resources. Use them. Find her before she finds us. And if I can't, then we fight together. His phone buzzed. Another text. Does the teacher know about the poison yet? I've perfected the formula.
Faster.
More painful. No antidote. Then a photo loaded. Zuri and Jiwoo leaving school that afternoon, both smiling. The message. I can reach them whenever I want. Kang's control snapped. He threw the phone hard enough to shatter it against the wall, then braced hands on the table, breathing hard. Min-jae. Get Jiwoo, he said, voice deadly calm. Pack bags for both of you. We're leaving in 20 minutes. Where? Somewhere even Hae-won can't reach. A compound outside the city. Maximum security. We go to ground until I can draw her out. You're using us as bait.
No.
He turned, eyes burning. I'm eliminating every vulnerability while I hunt her. Zuri wanted to argue, but the look on his face stopped her. She went to wake Jiwoo. The little girl took the news with unsettling calm. The bad lady is back. The one who hurt Mommy? Yes. Kong said, not sugarcoating. So, we're going somewhere safe until I make her go away. Permanently. Will Miss Suri come? Of course. She's family now. We protect family. Family. The word settled over Zuri like weight and promise. 20 minutes later, they descended to the private garage where black SUVs waited. Kang's security had multiplied, 15 men, all armed, all wearing expressions suggesting they'd kill anyone who looked at Jiwoo wrong. This is overkill, Zuri murmured as Kong secured Jiwoo's car seat. This is necessary. Haewon is patient and creative. She won't stop until she's destroyed everything I love. He met Zuri's eyes over Jiwoo's head, which now includes you. Before Zuri could respond, the garage's exit opened. The security gate that should have been impenetrable simply opened. The men stationed there collapsed simultaneously. No gunshots. No struggle. Just sudden unconsciousness. Poison. Kong snarled, pulling Jiwoo from her seat and shoving her at Zuri. Gas in ventilation. Get to stairs. Don't breathe deeply, move. They ran. Jiwoo in Zuri's arms, Kong behind them providing cover, his men falling like dominoes. Zuri's lungs burned, vision blurring, but she kept moving because stopping meant Jiwoo died. They burst into the stairwell, fresh air, clean air, and Zuri gasped desperately. Jiwoo coughed but stayed conscious. Kong slammed the door, sealing off poisoned air. Up or down? Zuri wheezed. Up. Roof. Helicopter. Kong was already moving, taking stairs 3 at a time, phone pressed to ear calling extraction. They made it to the roof. A helicopter waited, rotors spinning. But Zuri's heart sank when she saw who stood beside it. A woman. Korean late 30s, beautiful the way venomous snakes are beautiful. All black, hair pulled back severely, smile sharp enough to cut. Min Jae, she said pleasantly. How lovely. And you brought your new family. How convenient. Haewon. Kong pushed Zuri and Jiwoo behind him, his body a shield. This doesn't have to end badly. Doesn't it? You killed my brother. Destroyed my organization. I think bad endings are exactly what this calls for. Your brother tried to kill Jiwoo. I was protecting my daughter. And I'm protecting my legacy. Eye for an eye. You took family from me. I take family from you. Her eyes flickered to Zuri and Jiwoo. Question is, do I take the child or the woman? Which would hurt more? Neither. Because you're not leaving this roof alive. Haewon laughed. Still so confident. That's what I admired about you. Even when your wife was dying, begging you to save her, you maintained control. Right until she took her last breath and you broke. Kang's hands clenched to fists. What do you want? Zuri heard herself ask. What would make you stop? Haewon's attention shifted. The teacher speaks. Tell me, has Min Jae told you how his wife died? How long it took? The poison I used was my own creation. Slow acting, agonizing, giving him just enough time to watch her slip away. You're a monster. I'm a businesswoman who understands leverage. And right now, Min Jae's greatest weakness is his need to protect people. Then exploit me, Zuri said, stepping out despite Kang's growl of protest. You want leverage? I'm right here. Let Jiwoo go. She's a child. Zuri, no. But she's his daughter. Haewon said thoughtfully. The last piece of his beloved wife. Killing her would destroy him completely. Although making him watch you die first would be delicious. You'll have to catch me first. Zuri moved before thought engaged. She grabbed Jiwoo, sprinted for the helicopter, praying Haewon's interest in torture would buy seconds.
It did. Barely.
Haewon's men materialized, 3 of them. Kong intercepted 2, fighting with brutal efficiency. But the 3rd reached Zuri just as she got Jiwoo into the helicopter. Hands grabbed her, yanking her back. Something sharp pricked her neck, a syringe. Just something to keep you compliant, Haewon said. We're going to have such fun. And Min Jae will watch every second until he breaks. Zuri's vision swam. Her legs gave out. But with last strength, she screamed, Take her, M-I-N-J-E. Save Jiwo. She saw Kong torn between impossible choices, his daughter in the helicopter, vulnerable, or the woman he'd admitted loving in enemy hands. Go! Zuri screamed again. Kang's face contorted with anguish. Then he did the hardest thing. He let Haewon take Zuri. He climbed into the helicopter with Jiwoo sobbing and reaching for her teacher and gave the order to take off. The last thing Zuri saw before drugs pulled her under was Min Jae's expression, devastated and determined. Then darkness claimed her, and she knew only cold certainty. This was how she died. In the dark, in a monster's hands, having saved the man and child she loved. 3 hours earlier, in a secure location 20 miles outside Manhattan, Kang Min-jae stood in what was now a war room. Maps covered walls. Laptops displayed tracking data, security feeds, intelligence reports. 15 of his most trusted men worked with military efficiency. In the corner, on a small cot, Jiwoo sat clutching her rabbit, watching her father with eyes holding too much understanding. "Daddy." Her voice was small. "Is Miss Zuri going to die like Mommy did?" Kang's hands clenched hard enough to make wood creak.
No.
"How do you know?" "Because I won't let it happen. Not again. You couldn't stop it last time." Brutal child honesty. Kang turned to face his daughter, saw in her expression the same fear clawing his chest. "You're right. I couldn't stop your mother's death. I was arrogant and unprepared. Those mistakes cost me everything. But I learned. I built better security, better intelligence. This time, I'm not walking into Haewon's trap blind. But you are walking into it."
Yes.
"Because the alternative is leaving Miss Zuri to die alone. I won't do that." Jiwoo climbed off the cot, taking his hand. "Mommy would want you to love again. She told me once. I was really little, but I remember. She said if anything happened, you should find someone who makes you happy. Someone who makes me happy too." Kang's throat tightened. "She said that? She said you were too good at loving to stop. That it wasn't weakness. It was your superpower." Jiwoo squeezed his hand. "So go save Miss Zuri. Use your superpower. And bring her home, so we can be a real family." Kang knelt, pulling his daughter into a fierce hug. "I will. I promise." His second-in-command, Seo-jun, cleared his throat. "Sir, we've triangulated her location. Warehouse district in Red Hook. Haewon is using shell company property. How many hostiles? Best estimate, 15 to 20. All armed. Warehouse has limited access. 2 main entrances, skylight, loading dock. They're expecting you loud. Then we go quiet. Assemble Alpha Team. Full tactical. Snipers on every building with line of sight. I want exits covered. Extraction ready the second we have Zuri." Kang stood, expression settling into something cold and lethal. "Haewon thinks she knows how I operate. Show her why that's a mistake." "Sir, there's one more thing." Seo-jun hesitated. Intercepted message. Audio file. He played it. Zuri's voice, strained but defiant. "Min-jae, if you're hearing this, don't come. It's a trap. Haewon wants you to watch me die, and then kill you both. Please, just take care of Jiwoo. Tell her I love her. Tell her to be brave and strong. And tell her that saving her was the best thing I ever did." Silence. Then Haewon's voice. Such devotion. "I'll make sure you hear her screaming. Every moment of agony. Every time she begs for death. Just like last time." The recording ended. Kang stood frozen, and Seo-jun took an involuntary step back because his boss's expression promised death. "Change of plans," Kang said quietly. "I'm going alone." "Sir, that's not a suggestion. Haewon wants me broken? I'll give her what she wants. I'll walk in unarmed. Surrender myself in exchange for Zuri's release." "That's suicide."
No.
"It's strategy. Haewon's expecting tactical assault. She's not prepared for me offering what she wants, the chance to torture me. While she's focused, you take the shot." Seo-jun's eyes widened. "You're making yourself the distraction. I'm making myself bait. The second Haewon has me, she'll bring Zuri out.
She'll want me to watch."
That's the pattern. When she's focused on me, snipers take out guards. Tactical team breaches. You extract Zuri while I deal with Haewon. And if something goes wrong, she won't kill me quickly. She wants me to suffer. And I'm going to let her think she's succeeding until she realizes she's lost." He turned to Jiwoo, crouching again. "I need you to stay here with Mr. Yoon. No matter what you hear, you stay safe." Can you do that? You're going to trick the bad lady, Jiwoo said. Not a question. Yes. And then you're going to stop her. Forever. Yes. Okay. But Daddy? Don't die. Miss Suri needs you. I need you. I won't. I have too much to live for. 2 hours later, Kong Min-jae walked alone into the Red Hook warehouse. Unarmed as promised, wearing simple black, hands visible and empty. But his eyes were weapons enough. Haewon stood center of the space, Zuri bound to a chair beside her. Blood streaked Zuri's face from a forehead cut, wrists raw from restraints. But her eyes were clear and furious when they met Kang's. Don't, she said hoarsely. Min-jae, don't do this. I'm not leaving you. How touching, Haewon said. Brought low by love. Again. You'd think you'd learn. I have learned. I've learned love isn't weakness. It's worth dying for. Worth killing for. Then prepare to die. Haewon produced a syringe, the same poison that killed his wife. Same formula. Improved delivery. You'll have 20 minutes to watch Miss Kwame die before it takes you. Poetic, don't you think? Extremely. But there's one flaw in your plan. Oh, you assumed I came alone. The warehouse erupted. Snipers took out guards with precision. Tactical teams breached both entrances. Kong moved faster than possible, knocking the syringe away, putting himself between Haewon and Zuri. You lied. Haewon snarled. You said unarmed alone. I came unarmed. Never promised alone. You should have known better. Haewon lunged for a weapon, but a figure emerged from shadows, Senator Philip Reed, who'd been hiding, waiting. He grabbed Zuri, yanking her chair back, gun pressed to her temple. Everyone stops or she dies, Philip said.
Right now.
Freeze. The warehouse went still. Stalemate, Philip continued. Haewon and I walk out. You don't follow. In exchange, I don't blow the teacher's brains out. You're not walking out, Kong said flatly. Then she dies. She dies, you die. Immediately. Painfully. And your wife joins you, because I've had Victoria Reed in federal custody for 3 hours. She's cooperating with prosecutors. Your operation is exposed. You have no leverage. I have her. And I have 50 men outside. 20 snipers with clear shots. Federal agents ready to storm in. You're surrounded, outgunned, out of options. Kong stepped forward. Let Zuri go, and I let you live long enough to see a courtroom. Keep that gun on her, and I ensure your death makes headlines. You're bluffing. Am I? Kang's phone buzzed. He answered on speaker. Tell them. Victoria Reed's voice broken. Philip, they have everything. The trafficking records, financial transactions, witness testimony. It's over. Let the teacher go. Philip's hand shook. The gun wavered. Zuri threw her weight backward, toppling the chair, creating chaos. Kong moved, crossed the distance in heartbeats, grabbed Philip's wrist, twisted until bones cracked, beat the senator with methodical viciousness. Don't kill him, Zuri gasped from the floor. Min-jae, don't. She stopped, followed his gaze. Jiwoo stood in the entrance, Mr. Yoon holding her hand, expression shocked and scared and desperately relieved. Daddy, she whispered. You saved Miss Zuri? Kong let Philip collapse. He crossed to his daughter, lifting her. I promised you I would. You did the hero thing, like in movies. I did the necessary thing. He looked over his shoulder at Zuri, something softening. But yes, I saved her, because she's ours, and we protect what's ours. Federal agents swarmed in, taking custody of Philip and Haewon. Kang's men dismantled the scene, and in controlled chaos, Zuri crossed to Kong and Jiwoo. You came, she said simply. Did you doubt?
Yes. No.
I don't know. Her voice broke. You chose Jiwoo on the roof. That was the right choice. But I thought maybe it meant that I didn't love you enough? Kong reached out with his free hand, cupping her bruised face with heartbreaking gentleness. Zuri, I chose Jiwoo because you made me. But every second after was focused on getting you back. I would have burned this city to find you. You shouldn't have risked yourself. Then I would have died trying. But I wasn't dying. Not when I have everything to live for. He leaned in, forehead resting against hers while Jiwoo watched with satisfaction. You're mine, Zuri Kwame. Mine to protect, mine to love, mine to build a life with.
If you'll have me.
If you'll have us. Yes, Zuri whispered. God, yes. They kissed, tender despite violence, promising despite trauma, healing despite bleeding wounds. Jiwoo, sandwiched between them, giggled. You, grown-up kissing. But also yay. Does this mean Miss Zuri is my mom now? Not yet, Zuri said gently. But maybe someday, if that's what you want. I want, Jiwoo said firmly. I want forever. Then forever it is, Kong agreed. And in a Red Hook warehouse, surrounded by federal agents and deadly soldiers, Kong Min-jae believed, for the first time in 4 years, that happy endings were possible. 6 months later, aftermath was messy. Kong spent 18 hours in FBI custody as a witness whose testimony dismantled the Reed trafficking network. Victoria Reed turned evidence, got 15 years. Philip Reed got life. Ashton Reed, conscious now, faced his own charges. Yoon Hae-won was extradited to South Korea, never to touch American soil again. It was over. Except trauma didn't disappear with arrest warrants. Zuri woke screaming from nightmares. Jiwoo refused to leave her father's sight, reverting to behaviors she'd outgrown. Kong became hypervigilant to obsession, reviewing security at 3 a.m., unable to close his eyes without seeing Zuri in Hae-won's hands. We need help, Zuri said one evening, finding Kong in his study at 2 a.m., still checking alerts. Professional help. All 3 of us. I'm handling it. You're not sleeping. Not eating. You nearly attacked Mr. Yoon yesterday. This isn't handling it. He looked up, exhaustion devastating. I keep seeing you die. Every time I close my eyes. Hae-won with that syringe, and I'm not fast enough. And then it's my wife again, and I can't save her either. It loops. Zuri crossed to him, taking his face in her hands. But I didn't die. I'm right here, alive and safe, and so in love with you it terrifies me. You love me? Raw vulnerability. How could I not? You walked into hell to bring me home. I don't know how to heal from this. Neither do I. But we figured out together. You, me, Jiwoo. As a family. The word broke something in him. He pulled Zuri into his lap, burying his face in her neck, shaking with silent sobs. She held him, stroking his hair, whispering reassurances. They fell asleep there, Kong in his desk chair, Zuri in his lap, tangled like storm survivors finding harbor. Jiwoo found them in the morning. She looked at her father's sleeping face, peaceful for the first time in weeks, and made a decision. She climbed into the chair with them, wedging between the adults, and closed her eyes. When Kong woke hours later, sunlight streaming through windows, he found himself surrounded by his entire world. Jiwoo drooling on his shirt, Zuri with one arm around his daughter, the other around his neck. Uncomfortable. His back ached. His left leg was numb. He'd never felt safer. Morning, Zuri mumbled, blinking awake. We fell asleep. We did. Your neck is going to hate you. Worth it. He shifted carefully. You were right. About needing help. I'll call Dr. Reyes today. The trauma therapist. For all 3 of us? For all 3 of us. Family sessions and individual. Whatever it takes to move forward instead of just surviving. That's very emotionally mature. I have good motivation. A woman I love who deserves better. A daughter who deserves childhood. A life I want to build instead of endure. I love you too, Zuri said. In case that wasn't clear. Say it again anyway. I love you, Kong Min-jae. Your strength and vulnerability. Your devotion to Jiwoo. The way you make me feel chosen. I love all of it. He kissed her, deep and slow, promising tomorrows. Jiwoo stirred, making a disgusted sound. Kissing again? Before breakfast? Gross. But she was smiling. Can we have pancakes? We can have whatever you want. I want Miss Zuri to officially be my mom. Like, with papers. Not just living here. Real family. Kong and Zuri exchanged glances. That's serious, Zuri said carefully. Adoption means forever. I know. I'm 7, not stupid. Jiwoo looked between them. I want it. Want you. Want us to be real family. I want that too, Zuri admitted. But it's not just my decision. Wants it, Kong interrupted quietly. Wants you legally bound to us. Wants Jiwoo to have the mother she deserves.
He paused.
But adoption is just the beginning. More, he shifted Jiwoo gently, setting her on the desk, and dropped to one knee. No ring, unplanned, unchoreographed. Just a man making a choice in sunlit study with his daughter watching. Marry me, he said simply. Not because it's logical or because we've been through trauma. Marry me because I love you. Because I want to wake next to you for the rest of my life. Because you make me believe in happy endings. Zuri's eyes filled. That's not fair. You can't propose before coffee. Is that a no? That's a yes, but I'm crying and I hate crying and you're terrible for making me feel this much before 9 a.m. She laughed through tears. Yes, you impossible man. Yes, I'll marry you. Jiwoo squealed, launching herself at both of them with enough force to send them tumbling. They landed in a heap of tangled limbs and laughter. Can I be the flower girl? And can we have chocolate cake? And can I call you mom for real now? Yes, maybe, and absolutely yes, Zuri said, pulling the little girl close. You can call me mom starting right now. Mom. Jiwoo tested the word, then smiled wider.
Mom.
It sounds right. Later, after pancakes, Jiwoo supervised, Zuri cooked, Kong watched with besotted eyes. After dropping Jiwoo at school with promises to pick her up together, Kong pulled Zuri into his bedroom. Not for seduction, though tension simmered, but for conversation. Planning. The 1,000 decisions that came with building a life. I want to go legitimate, he said.
Fully.
No more gray areas. I want Jiwoo to have a father she's proud of. I want you to have a husband who isn't constantly at risk. That's a big change. Can be restructured. Import-export can be legal with proper licensing. Protection becomes actual private security. It'll take years. But I'm done living in shadows. I want mornings like this. Want to coach Jiwoo's soccer team. Want to take you on normal dates. I fell in love knowing what you were. You don't have to change for me. I'm not changing for you. I'm changing for us. For the future, I want to give Jiwoo. For the man I want to be. His hands settled on her waist. You make me want to be better. Then we do it together. Every step. Every step. Every single one. He pulled her down for a kiss that started gentle and escalated quickly. Zuri's hands tangled in his hair, his grip tightening. Zuri, he breathed. If we don't stop. Then don't, she whispered. I'm tired of waiting. I want you. Want us. That was all the permission he needed. Hours later, wrapped in sheets, Kong traced patterns on her shoulder and tried to find words. I thought I'd never have this again. Intimacy. Connection. Someone who sees all the dark parts and stays. The dark parts make you who you are. I wouldn't change them. You see me clearly. And you love me anyway. Especially anyway, she corrected. Love isn't about perfection. Then I choose you, Zuri Kwame. Soon to be Zuri Kong. I'll take your name, your daughter, your complicated life. Package deal. Best deal I ever made. They had therapy to schedule. Wedding plans to coordinate. Adoption paperwork to file. A little girl to pick up who would demand proposal details. But for now, they had each other. And that was everything. 6 months later, Zuri stood in a hotel room adjusting her wedding dress for the 47th time. You look beautiful, Amara said, her best friend who'd flown from Kenya. And terrified. Second thoughts. No second thoughts. Just overwhelmed. 6 months ago, I was a kindergarten teacher with a quiet life. Now I'm marrying a former crime boss, adopting his daughter. 8, came a small voice. Jiwoo stood in the doorway, wearing her purple flower girl dress, with a tiara. I turned 8 last month. You made the rabbit cake. How could I forget? You ate 3 pieces and couldn't sleep. Worth it. Jiwoo crossed to her, expression serious. Mom, can I ask something? The words still made Zuri's chest tight. Of course. Are you scared? To marry Daddy? Because of all the stuff that happened. Zuri knelt, taking Jiwoo's hands. Sometimes I'm scared. Your daddy's life has been complicated. But you know what I'm more scared of? What? Not choosing him. not being part of this family, not waking up every morning knowing I get to love you both. She brushed Jiwoo's hair back. Fear is okay. It means we care. But we don't let fear stop us from living. Right? Right. Jiwoo whispered. Then in Korean, Sarangi Ialma. I love you too. Amara wiped her eyes. Okay, this is too much emotion. Pull it together. A knock. Mr. Yoon's voice. Miss Kwame? Everyone's ready. Zuri took a deep breath, squeezed Jiwoo's hand. Let's get married. The ceremony was intimate. 75 guests, compromise between Kang's preference, 200, and Zuri's, 20. Family, friends, Jiwoo's classmates, Riverside teachers. Dr. Reyes was there. Seo Jun stood as best man. And front row, clutching wedding rings, Jiwoo watched with intense focus. Kang stood at the altar in charcoal suit, eyes locked on the door. When Zuri appeared, walking alone because she insisted she was nobody's property, his expression transformed. Wonder. Pure, unfiltered wonder. She reached him, took his offered hand, felt complete. The judge cleared her throat. We're gathered to witness the union of Kang Min-jae and Zuri Kwame. The couple has written their own vows. Min-jae. Kang took both Zuri's hands.
Zuri.
6 months ago, my daughter played matchmaker. She chose badly, set you up with a predator. But she chose brilliantly bringing you into our lives. You're the bravest person I know. Not because you don't feel fear, but because you act anyway. You put yourself between danger and a child who wasn't yours. You walked into my world knowing how dark it was and chose to stay. His voice roughened. I promise to protect you, but never cage you. To support your dreams. To be the man you see when you look at me. To give Jiwoo the father she deserves and you the partner you've earned. I promise to choose you every day for the rest of my life. You're my second chance. My redemption. My home. Zuri blinked back tears. Min-jae. When your daughter arranged that date, I was lonely. Convinced love was for other people. Then you walked into that restaurant looking for her and looked at me like I mattered. You've shown me what love looks like when it's real, imperfect and complicated and worth fighting for.
She squeezed his hands.
I promise to stand beside you, not behind. To challenge you when needed and support you always. To be the mother Jiwoo deserves and the partner you need. To build a life not defined by the past but shaped by the future we choose. I promise to love you in darkness and light, chaos and peace, for all the days I'm given. The rings? Jiwoo stepped forward, with exaggerated care. Kang and Zuri exchanged rings, simple platinum engraved Korean and English. Chosen. Always. By the power vested in me. The judge said, smiling, I pronounce you husband and wife. You may. Kang didn't wait. He pulled Zuri into a kiss that was tender and possessive, promise and claim. Guests erupted. Jiwoo cheered louder than anyone. And Zuri Kwame, now Zuri Kang, let herself believe in fairy tales. 1 year later, Jiwoo Kang, now age 9, stood before her 3rd grade class holding a poster of family photos. My family is different, she began. I have a dad who used to do bad things but chose to be good. I have a mom who was born in Kenya and came to America to teach. And I have a baby brother who's 6 months old and screams a lot, but is really cute. She pointed to photos. My first mom died when I was little. A bad person hurt her. For a long time, it was just me and Dad. We were sad. But then I had the best idea. I set Dad up on a date. The class giggled. The date was terrible. The man tried to hurt my second mom with poison. But I saw it because Dad taught me to spot danger. I switched the cups. The bad man drank his own poison. Silence. Riveted. After that, complicated stuff happened. Bad people came after us. But Dad saved us. And Mom saved me too. And we decided to be a family. A real one. She pointed to the most recent photo. All 4 at the hospital when baby Jason was born. Kang exhausted and elated. Zuri holding the newborn. Jiwoo standing guard. This is my family now. We're Korean and Kenyan and American. We speak 3 languages. We eat kimchi and yugali and pizza. We're loud and messy and argue about whose turn to change diapers. But we choose each other. Every single day. And that's what makes us family. Not blood or perfection.
Choice.
She sat to thunderous applause. Mrs. Anderson wiped her eyes. Thank you, Jiwoo. That was beautiful. After school, Kong picked up Jiwoo, baby Jae-sun strapped to his chest because Zuri had conferences. How was the presentation? I told him everything. About the poison and bad people and how you used to be scary, but now you're just dad scary. You told them everything? Well, not the illegal stuff. I'm not stupid. Just the important parts. About choosing family. Mrs. Anderson cried. Everyone cries around this family. At home, Zuri was feeding Jae-sun while reviewing lesson plans. She looked up when they entered, expression softening. How was the project? Perfect. I made everyone cry. It's my superpower. Just like your father. Emotional devastation, disguised as stoicism. I resent that, Kong said, already moving to kiss her, careful of the baby. Jiwoo watched her parents, comfortable in each other's space, speaking in shorthand of people who'd built a life, and felt satisfaction deep in her bones. She'd done it, given her father back his smile, given herself the mother she'd dreamed about, given them all a future that looked nothing like the past. Later that night, after homework and dinner and bath time, after Jiwoo had been tucked in with stories, Kong and Zuri stood in their son's nursery watching him sleep. Do you think we did the right thing? Zuri whispered, bringing another child into our complicated situation? I think Jae-sun is lucky. He'll grow up knowing his father chose a better path, knowing his mother is the bravest person alive, knowing his sister will protect him with everything she has. That's not complicated. That's blessed. We're really doing this. Marriage, kids, suburban existence with a criminal past. Former criminal past. I'm fully legitimate now. You still intimidate people. That's just my face.
Zuri laughed.
Kong silenced her with a kiss. I love you, Zuri Kong. Thank you for saving me. For saving Jiwoo. For building this impossible, beautiful family. Thank you for letting me. For trusting me with your heart. They stood in dim nursery light, surrounded by evidence of their choice. Baby clothes, stuffed animals, photos covering every surface, and knew they'd made the right choice. Not the easy one, not the safe one, but the right one. In her room, Jiwoo lay in bed thinking about her heritage project, about how she told classmates that family was about choice. She'd meant it. She chose her dad every day, forgave him for scary parts of his past, loved him for the father he'd become. She chose her mom every day, opened her heart to someone new, trusted this love wouldn't leave. She chose her baby brother every day to be the big sister who protected instead of resented. And they chose her back every single day. That was family, not DNA or blood or documents.
Choice.
Repeated.
Daily.
Forever. Jiwoo smiled in darkness and closed her eyes, already dreaming about tomorrow with a family she'd built through 7-year-old determination. Sometimes the best love stories started with terrible first dates. Sometimes happily ever after required surviving darkness to appreciate light. But always, always, it required choosing each other. Every single day. No matter what. Thank you for experiencing Jiwoo, Zuri, and Min-jae's journey. From a 7-year-old's matchmaking scheme to a family forged through danger and unwavering love, this is what happens when the right people choose each other despite impossible odds. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button. Share it with someone who believes in second chances. Subscribe so you never miss another story about protective love, found families, and the courage it takes to trust again. Drop a comment. Would you have taken the risk? Could you love someone from a dangerous world? What would you name Jiwoo's baby brother? Ready for your next emotional journey? Check out other stories in our playlist. Your time means everything. Thank you for being part of our community, for believing in love stories that aren't easy, but are always worth it. Until next time, remember, the bravest love stories are the ones we choose every single day.